All right. Good morning. It is Saturday. And I'm off to a stellar start. Good day. Welcome back to the weekend hobby edition of the channel. Welcome to all of those who enjoy just farting around and killing some time in the garage on a beautiful Saturday. It is a balmy, I don't know, plus 4 degrees Celsius, or what is that, 38-ish, 40-ish Fahrenheit. It's beautiful out. So wanted to get a few things done on my Jeep. I have been neglecting this one because obviously working on the LJ and the Blue Jeep. So fixed the brake lights last week, and now it's time to rotate tires. I got some frame rust that I got to deal with, like sooner than later. It's starting to get pretty bad, so I want to get that ahead of that before it turns into a situation like the Blue Jeep, where I'm putting a frame sleeve. So I'm going to do that, and I knocked off all the tires because we're going to do a tire rotation while I'm at it, and just kind of do an overall inspection. So a few things that I've noticed already. So let's do a quick walk around, and I'll show you what we're up against. All right, so let's start with the easy stuff first. I've already knocked off a bunch of it here, but you can see a lot of this rust is still here. Tapping on this, it's still pretty strong. There's quite a bit of sediment and rust stuff inside here. And that's what really gets you, is when that stuff just sits in there and percolates. So I got a few ideas that we're gonna do to tackle this. One is fluid film. We're gonna spray a bunch in here and just let this soak. The oil layer will keep the rust from biting into the steel. So it's it's just kind of a preventative thing. Is it going to reverse the rust? No, but it'll stop it from chewing quite as hard. So the other thing that I noticed is when we were out wheeling, broke the rear sway bar link. So this is common. These are plastic. Is it the end of the world? No, but I definitely need to order a new one just for highway driving and stuff like that. There's a lot of discussion around sway bar links and off-road. I know a lot of people that disconnect them before they get onto the trail, both the front and the rear. I don't, just because for what we do, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. If you're into some serious, you got a 4-link suspension, you got those big anti-rock sway bars with the quick disconnects, then yes, because you're doing some serious articulation. And that will obviously give you the freedom to ride a little bit more comfortable than having wheels pick up off the ground and then slam and those types of things. So there is a benefit to it, but for what we do, I just don't do it. I don't think I'm going to change now. So that's, it's really up to the individual. There's a million opinions, 999,998 are right. So that's kind of that deal. So I got to order a new one of those and get that solved. And then this is the other one. I don't think I ever mentioned this. This Jeep, when I bought it at auction, has an airlift in the suspension. And these are great for leveling when you put a trailer on it or whatever, and you got that extra weight in the back. It just helps keep the suspension up. But what they're not good for is off-roading. And we can see it's not holding any air anymore. It's got a nice hole in it somewhere. I can hear it, but I don't know where. So am I going to worry about it right now? Nope. They'll just sit in there and kind of take up space, because I'm not going to take the suspension apart to get those out. It's just not that big of a deal. So we got some rust here that we got to fix. So I'll definitely do that. Same thing pretty much for the front. But we'll go around to this side. So here's the rear driver's side, and same thing. The sway bar is okay, but I'll probably order 2. I might go to a metal or something on that. I haven't decided. And then this one, you can see the airbag is just completely torn. Again, I'm not really worried about it. The perch seems to be in really good shape. Not like the Blue Jeep where it was completely rotted out. So definitely some rust up here, but it's all manageable. We just got to get it knocked off and get it rust treated and then painted, and this thing will last another 10, 15 years easily. This side, it's just a lot of surface rust. So I'm going to get all this cleaned up. I'm going to grease all this while I'm in here. All these grease nipples. Probably can't see these because it's pretty dark in here. But, front sway bar, get that all done and get all this rust treated and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the goal for today. Also the LJ, we're going to take this out next weekend. We have a plan. It's a long weekend here in the States. It's Martin Luther King Day on the 20th. So Tanya and I are going to take the LJ out for a little adventure. I got some parts coming for it. I'm going to put a winch on it and a winch plate just on the factory bumper. So I got that coming, and I got a new tire, which is the right size for here. If you remember when we revealed this is a 285/75 R16, that's a 265, which is the same size as these ones. So the spare will match, and I'm sending it in to get the wheels balanced because they're a little off. And if we're going to drive it for however many hours, I'm not telling you where we're going yet, but it's going to be fun. So that's what's on for today. So let's get cracking. Okay, so you've seen me do this, I don't know how many times, but I've gotten comments around taking the rust off and kind of what is the best way. I have used 80 grit flap wheel before, which works really good on the flat surfaces and just kind of buzzing over it. But you've seen me do this more often than using this. And that's just because the wire wheel, I just find it gets into the nooks and crannies a lot better than what the flap disc does. Is any one better than the other? I think it depends, really. I've used both, so feel free, just kind of do whatever. I'll use the flap disc for all the flat stuff, and then I'll get in with the wire wheel after and just help polish it off. So I don't think it really matters, honestly, but completely up to you. And that's what I do find. This just kicks up so much more dust than what the drill does. That's the other kind of disadvantage, but I mean, it does definitely look a bit better. Don't have to put as much oomph in it to get it to work, but yeah. Okay. Put it on super speed. See, when you're old, this is just more relaxing, Not have to worry about catching my fingers. A Sunday drive versus a Saturday at the racetrack. We'll go with that. I don't even remember when the last time I inspected these rear brakes. I should probably have a look at those while I got this all apart. And that means if I find something wrong, I'm going to have to start fixing stuff. So maybe it's better just to leave them. Nothing's wrong with them. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. I think I'm good up to here. So now I'll hit this with some Rust Performer, and then we'll keep moving to the front. Like right from the factory. And I'm noticing these bushings in here are all cracked and worn too. They're not squeaking yet, and there doesn't seem to be any play, but it's definitely something we're gonna have to address here. Maybe later this year, or maybe never. I don't know. I'm not really feeling it right now though, I can tell you that. I'm done building big stuff for a while, unless something breaks. I still got the Blue Jeep that's kind of hovering out there too. Ooh, that's running. That's okay. The Blue Jeep still has quite a bit of work to do left on it. I still haven't welded that frame sleeve. I haven't had a chance to connect with Darian. which I got to do. So Darian, call me, because I keep forgetting. But I definitely owe him some work, and I know we were working on his little rig. I don't think he's got it running yet. So that's something that we got to get after as well. Help him out. See if we can get his stuff sorted out. All right. And in the cold weather, this stuff dries like beautifully. Or maybe it's just freezing. I don't know. Sure, we'll put some down in there. Yep, maybe, yep. We're not gonna check the brake. Yep, check, yep, they're good. I mean, the emergency brake locks, so I still have pad left. Checked. Okay, let's keep moving. This side is almost dry, except for when I did my pro painting technique, and it's running worse than the Orinoco Flow River in Venezuela, but that's okay. Got some satin black paint here so we can make it look pretty. Nope. Not a chance. These are the fancy cans with the spray pattern. One. Oh, the nozzles are broken up, so I don't think it really matters. But they do the vertical and horizontal spray pattern. But we're not going to worry about that. Oh, there we go. Nice and pretty. Man, you could really just spend the whole day doing this. But I think I just want to clean up some of the rougher areas. Okay, so we got all the rust stuff done. Everything's all kind of cleaned up real good. So now what I want to do is tackle these grease fittings. So I got a little grease gun. This is just one I picked up at Harbor Freight. I can't remember how much it was, 30 bucks or something. Comes with one grease cartridge, and then you can buy the refillable things. And so these just pop over. You should see these just start to swell. Get the steering rack while I'm sitting right here. So Tone, these little grease nipples are all around the steering component. So tie rod end, sway bar link, steering rack.
Like front, back, both sides?
No, it's just they're all in the front.
And you need both sides?
Yeah, so I can see that starting to swell up pretty good now. That's good. So that one's good. This one's good. This one's good. I got this one. Obviously grease was squishing out there. Okay, so we got all the grease nipples done. You can see if we can get this. My strings aren't hanging. So there's obviously one on the sway bar links, one on the tie rods on the bottom side here, one on the ball joints, one on the top here, and then on the steering rack underneath there. And then same on the other side. You'll have the sway bar, and the tie rod is further on the inside where the link attaches. So make sure you get grease all those, especially after, like I mentioned, on an off-road trip. And it'll keep these from wearing out. This one's pretty, this tie rod's getting pretty worn here on the front, but I think it's okay for now. So all the painting's done, got all the rust repair finished. So now the last piece of the puzzle is rotating the tires. So this is obviously something that's important to do. I showed this to Tanya a few minutes ago. So these tires aren't that old, but you can see this one was on the rear and then this one's on the front. So the tread wear is it's a lot more significant on the rear than it is the front. So rotating these, I basically just do back to front, front to back. On either side. I know a lot of people have varying opinions on how to do that, whether you go crossways. The way I was always taught was to just go front to back, back to front. Every, 10,000 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles. It's a few. I guess that would be 6,000 miles. So I think that's gonna do it. I'm just gonna knock these tires on and then this Jeep's done. So, and then off to the tire shop. So just a quick one. Not really a watch life of dad work, but you get the general principle. The upkeeping these old vehicles is really important. And it's, like I mentioned a few times, it's a tedious task, but we want to keep these things on the road for as long as we can. So that's going to do it for today. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.